Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my coloring corner. Today we are going to be working on the skyline of this page in our begin adult coloring from the beginning. Sometimes I forget the names that I have given series. I'm not calling it a tutorial series because, I'm just showing you the things that I've learned in my life as from my journey of coloring. So I'm not really a teacher. I'm just showing you what I know. So we're actually going to work on the sky today. It is a very crummy day here in the Pacific Northwest. It's very, very wet, very rainy, and very dark. So I want to color something that's bright and sunny. So we're going to work on the sky. Now we're going to start off with number 3, which is dandelion. And in the Faber-Castells, it is number 108, dark carmine yellow. And we're going to start with the sun. I hope everyone is doing well. And as you can probably tell, I did not get my homework done. So this is what happens. Life happens, people. And sometimes you don't get all your homework done. Don't sweat it. It is coloring. It is not supposed to be stressful in any way, shape, or form. So if you don't get your homework done or if you don't get your practicing in, don't worry about it. The page ain't going nowhere. The tutorial or the lesson or the video isn't going anywhere. So don't worry about catching up. Don't worry about being behind. Nobody is ever behind. Nobody needs to catch up. You all have your own journeys and your own timelines, and those are special to you and specific to you. If you find that you need to put this away for a month, put it away for a month. Don't worry about it. You're not being graded on it. You're not going to get in trouble for not doing it. Enjoy the process and enjoy the page. That's all you need to do. All right, so we're going to use number 3, and we're going to start on the sun here. Oh, I'm going to zoom you in so you can actually see what I'm doing. Just in case you want to actually see it. All right. So I'm going to move it down here. And I'm going to zoom in just a little more because there's some effects that are going to go on the clouds. I'm going to move that up because there's some effects that are going to go on the clouds as well as on the tower as well as the bridge. But first we've got to get the sky finished up, worked on. So I'm just putting a light layer of this dark yellow in the sky, in the sun. Now I'm not going to put this yellow away because we're going to use it again here in just a minute. Now I want to go in with some orange tones. So I want to use number 4. Get it out of the package here. So number 4, which is Autumn Glory in the English version. And in the Faber-Castells, it would be number 113, Orange Glaze. And we're just going to go and blend this in to our yellow. Not going all the way in, just around the edges. And then we're going to blend it in with the yellow. So we're going to go over top of it with the yellow and blend that color in. I'm also going to use a little bit of red. So we're going to use number 10, which is cyan in the new English version, which is also number 10, and 121 pale geranium lake in the Faber-Castells. Now once we get the yellow in here, this is going to be more orange than red. It's just going to have that red under color. Just doing around the very edge of the sun there. Then we're going to come in with that yellow again, and we're going to blend that brightening up that sun. So I am using the Brutfuner squared. I'm using the Asian version. That is why I'm giving you the English version numbers and names, as well as the Faber-Castell conversion, because I do have somebody that has requested that I do that, since she does not have the Brutfuners but does have the Faber-Castells. Alright, so I'm just going to blend that in, get that all blended. Try to have a brush, don't use your hand. Alright, now for the areas on the building as well as on the clouds, we're going to use number 49, which is Limelight in the English version. Also 49, and light yellow glaze number 104 in the Faber-Castell. So I'm going to sharpen this because it's dull and I need it to be quite sharp. And I'm going to sharpen the orange as well, because we're going to need a little bit of that for the cloud that is right over top of the sun. So I'm going to take some of that orange and I'm just going to come in a little bit here, getting that orange color coming off of the light source, which is the sun. If you look at clouds, when they are close to or over top of the sun, they will be quite bright and have a yellow-orange tinge to them. Where the sun is going over top of them. So I'm just going over top of that orange now with that yellow, which is number 49 again in the Brutfuners. And in the, oh, it's just going to run away on me. In the Faber-Castell, it will be number 104. Now I'm showing that light shining through the cloud. So I'm following the line of the sun, making sure that you can see that light shining through the cloud in that area. So there's those clouds done. Now these ones here are going to have more of the darker grays and the lighter grays. Now this side here of the building, of the tower, is going to have that light. So we're going to put that yellow on the building here in areas that is going to be exposed to that light. Not going all the way across. We're just going into the areas that are going to have that light on it. Now some of these, especially in the back side, are going to have more light than on the front side. So you have to take a look and see where things are in the picture, because this is a 4-dimensional or a 3-dimensional picture. There's 3 dimensions to this drawing, so you have to figure out where the inside of things are. Same with on the plants. Now this is going into the outer areas, so there's going to be light there. And then there's going to be light reflecting up off of the water. So we're going to also put the light down here where it's going to be reflecting off of this area here. Like so. There's going to be light on the top of this tree here as well as this one here. And there's going to be light back here on top of this cloud and at the bottom of this cloud. Again, looking at the inside that is sitting closest to the sun here. So it's the same as this, just on the inside of it. All right, I think that's it for our reflective properties. And of course, all of these things you can go back through and readjust as necessary. This is going to have some light on it. Just looking at the buildings in the back here that are also going to have light on them. Now for the clouds themselves, we're going to use a little bit of silver, a little bit of gray, and some white. So we're going to start with a number 72, which is slate gray in the English version, which is also number 72, and cold gray. I'd say cold gray 3 in the Faber-Castells, which is number 232. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to put in the shadow of the clouds in front. I don't want it to be a really dark gray because I don't think these are storm clouds. Now, if they were storm clouds, we would want a darker gray. But because I don't believe these are storm clouds, we don't want them to be extremely dark. Now, at the bottom here, we're going to give them a bit of a silver lining. is going into that yellow a little bit. So that is with silver, which is number 68 and number 251. All right, now we're using white, which is number 32, and white in the Faber-Castells is white. White is white, just use white. And we're just going to blend all of that together into the cloud. Now you're probably sitting there saying, the paper is white, why are you using white? Now there's two different reasons why you need to use white when you're coloring a white space. One is it helps blend those colors in and gives you a cohesive blend area. It also dampens down just a little bit the brighter colors, but it protects the paper in that area. So for example, if you decide that you want to use pan pastels or soft pastels for the rest of the sky, you can do so because you've used white on this, and an eraser will quickly pick that up off of that area without staining it. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to add that darker gray, so cold gray, to the shadow areas of the cloud. Now there's also going to be, oh, I have a smudge there. And this is why you use a brush when you're moving color off of your page. Otherwise you smudge it. There, that's better. So there's going to be that, and then we're going to put the silver in. Giving that cloud a silver lining. Try to make sure that you don't leave a straight line, that you just feather that in a little bit so that when you go through with your white pencil, you have something to blend. If you go a straight line, sometimes you find that the line doesn't go away when you're blending. So be careful of that. All right, now we're going to take our white, like this one here. I need to put a little bit more of a feather in it. So when I say feather in it, it means that I've really lightly brought that color out enough for the next color to blend into so that it gets moved around and blended with the next color. Like so. Now I'm not going to do the individual areas behind there, or behind here, because that would be insanity. And I'm not crazy. Well, that's what I've been told anyway. Just putting in a little bit of that silver into this cloud here, and then taking our white and blending it in. Like so. All right, so that is our cloud system. Sorry, I'm off screen. So that's where our clouds are going to be. Now we've got a skyline, and we want the skyline to reflect a nice, bright spring day, summer day. So we're going to use number 39, which we've used before. It is 39 in both the Asian as well as the English. So it is Blue Jay in the English version, and it will be light cobalt turquoise. No, that's wrong. That's not right enough. Middle phthalo blue 152 in the polychromos. Now I'm very lightly bringing this up. Try not to color the tree into the skyline. Now all of these are little gaps. So we're going to try to cover as many of the little gaps as we can. And I'm just putting in a very light layer, a little bit heavier at the bottom, but as I move up, I'm lightening my hand so that I leave the tail for that next color to blend into. It's going to be darker at the base area. Now this area here is higher up in the sky. This area here is lower in the sky. So we're going to do a darker blue further down because that's further away. This area here is closer. This area here is behind the skyline. So now I'm using number 38, which is, oh, a sec, let me find it, which is very light blue, which is sky blue in the English, and I would use 146 sky blue in the Faber-Castells. So I'm going over top of the darker blue with the light blue. Trying to get in between each of those squares with the light blue. Now you're not going to get every single one of them perfect. Don't worry about that. You don't need to. And then we're going to come up through here. Try not to cover the birds. And because this is small enough, You can easily do this with your colored pencils. Now, if it was a larger space, I would not suggest doing it with colored pencil. You may find that it gets a little hard on the hand if it's a larger space, and it can be quite daunting. So I'm using a back and forth technique here just to get that color on the page. Where it's a little bit tighter in, I'm using the scrubbing effect, a scrubbing technique to get closer to the clouds and to get those details a little bit tighter. But because I'm not worried about it being heavy, I just want it to be lightly colored, and as I'm getting closer to the sun, I am lifting my hand more because that blue is going to dissipate a little bit as you get closer to the sun's rays, the sun's light. The sun's light will put a white, creamy, light color around for the halo. So we're not going to worry too much about getting a heavy amount of blue in that area. All right, I'm going to sharpen my pencil because I'm finding that I'm getting... All right, so I got something on my page there. If you get something on your page, don't worry about it. Just work it into the design. It will work itself out. So as further up I go, the lighter my hand gets, and the lighter the blue becomes. Now I want a little bit deeper down here. So I'm just going to go over top of that light blue and very lightly bringing that dark blue in. To that lighter blue. And what this does is it gives you that skyline effect, that gives you that horizon effect. Just going a little bit deeper on this lower area. Blending in that darker blue. And then bringing our hand up into that lighter area and getting that transition in there. Now we're also going to put a little bit more of the darker blue in the squares here, in between the bars of the tower here. In the tower construction. Like so. And then we're going to come over here. We're going to bring that lighter blue in again. Now this part here is solid, so we're not going to color any blue in this part. Now I did ask if you guys had any requests on things that you wanted to see colored in the videos, and I did have one request, so we will be coloring that as well as the skyline here. Now the one thing I need to remind you all is this is your page, your picture. If you want the sky to be purple, do the sky purple. Just start darker at the bottom and work your way up towards the sun, lightening your hand. You know, if you want to do the sun green, do the sun green. It is your page. Make it what you want it to be. The colors that I am giving you are just color suggestions. That is not the you have to. You know, this is not the colors that you have to use. These are great colors if you want the sky to be blue. All right, going to come up through here. This here is also going to be solid and less translucent, so we're not going to see as much of the skyline through there. However, we are going to see the skyline through the walkway because the center area is open. So we're going to come in through here, and then we're going to go lighter up here. And up here. And up here. Sharpen this again. Because getting into those smaller details on the top of the tower is going to require a sharper pencil. All right. So some of these details aren't going to show a lot of the sky behind it because they are intertwined. So this part here is going to show the back part of this. These ones here are going to show the sky more because they are not interfered with the other pillar. Just remember that there are structural things in there, so it's not going to be all blue, as well as the clouds behind it as well. So don't cover up any cloud areas like I just did there. Those should be gray. So I'm just going to erase that like so. And I'm going to come in up here. And then we're going to take our gray and we're just going to fill this in a little bit with that gray just to show that the cloud is there and that I didn't forget to color it. All right. Now we're just going to fill this in again, blending those colors together. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. Now you can see the line there where that building is obstructing this side. So see that line there. So that's going to block the sun and the skyline from being seen through there. So those are things that you would color the color of the building, not the color of the sky. Now, because this is higher up, that skyline down there is blocked by the bridge. So we're just going to come in with our lighter blue. And as we get closer to that sun, we got to remember to lighten our hand up in this area up here. Now, because the cloud is blocking the halo from being seen in the front, we don't need to worry about it too much in front of or underneath that cloud line. However, at the top of the cloud line is where we're going to need to keep an eye out on how close we get to the sun. Now, we can always do a normal flat color all the way up until the sun, and even right on top of it, and then just take a white and change that halo in the area to a lighter color of blue. Now, even though this is further away, I am still making this a little bit darker, even though the skyline itself is being blocked by that that bridge. I am making this part of the sky just a touch darker at the bottom and lightening as I get up closer to the top. Same with up here. We're going to go a little bit darker up here and then lightening our hand as we get closer to the sun area. It's going to be darker on this side here. Now I'm still just using a light hand and filling in the different areas. In the smaller areas I am scrubbing so that I can fill in those areas without getting a lot of the white spot. However, the white spot is not, one of those things that you need to be concerned about when it comes to the sky, because you're going to have little bits of light flickering through where you're going to find that the white is going to show through. So it's fine to leave that white spot there. You don't need to blend the white out of your sky area. There are some things that you just need to embrace the white with. And it actually enhances the page. There are some things, however, that I don't like seeing the white spot in, so I do blend it out. So I am coming right up against the sun, just very, very lightly, giving it that white halo or light halo instead of that darker blue of the skyline. Now, if you find that that's not light enough for you, you can take your white, make sure you wipe it off from your gray areas, And you can just blend that in like so. All right, so there is our skyline.